are now listening to Lauer Road Radio.
Let's get it.
What?
At Tanagra, when the walls fell, this is Danowings coming at you another time for Lauer Road Radio with my co-host, as always, Jason.
Yep.
How you doing today?
I'm doing it.
We're in the Daffy Down Studios. We're making it happen.
Yeah.
There's no Czar of Information. There's no Jesse, but Stella is on the ones and zeros because
we need her.
The fact that you're listening to the show means that Stella's here. It's like I don't even have to mention it. Let's just get right to it, Jason. I don't want to mess around.
Yeah.
I got places to go, people to see, things to do.
Sorry, I'm really thirsty.
Dateline, May 7th, CNN.com or whatever this website is. Are you familiar with this, Jason? Headline, Panera is dropping charged lemonade.
Yes!
The subject of multiple wrongful death lawsuits. And just as a little, if you don't know, Jason drinks about a gallon of charged lemonade a day, and I don't know that I'm exaggerating. Panera Bread is eliminating charged lemonade from its menu, the caffeinated beverage that has sparked multiple lawsuits and caused a public relations nightmare for the company. The charged lemonades will come off the menu in the next 2 weeks, according to Bloomberg, which first reported the news. The chain declined to comment to CNN on the news on the timeline of the drink's removal. Panera has faced at least 3 separate lawsuits over the lineup of controversial drinks in recent months, claiming that the high levels of caffeine in the product has led to the deaths of 2 customers and the irreversible complications, health complications of another. Jason, as the premier consumer of Panera charged lemonades, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so multiple things going on here. First of all, do people kill people or guns kill people? Remind me how that works.
I think people with guns kill people.
The gun itself doesn't kill people. A gun sitting on the table will not kill anybody, ever.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That charged lemonade sitting on that table will not kill anybody, ever.
Okay.
The abuse of that thing is
Okay.
what kills people.
All right.
And this really, really hacks me up. It's accountability. Self-awareness. What are you capable of doing?
We're living in a free country. So how do you feel like if they're like, we're just going to put just a touch of crack cocaine in the charged lemonade?
Deal.
You're for that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just as long as you're consistent. That's what I'm looking for, consistency here.
Okay, so here's the thing. A couple days ago.
It should be advertised, though. Like, so that way you fully are aware.
Yeah.
Like,
nobody was hiding the fact that it had caffeine in it.
If that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was the big advertisement.
Yes.
That it had a lot of
and
caffeine
they put it
in
behind the counter.
So people couldn't go crazy like this guy over here. What if as a result of this, what if on the front of every single charged lemonade at Panera, they had to have a death count, like a running death count of deaths that they could contribute to that.
And maybe pictures of the dead people.
Yeah. Are you for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would still drink.
What if that was the result of the you still would though?
With the dead kid on the cup.
Yeah. Why is it going to be a kid? Was it a kid though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was a kid or not. I think what was happening was like teenagers were drinking large amounts of it and then like going to play basketball.
Sure.
And like their heart exploded.
Right.
Like you can't do that.
It's got a lot of caffeine in it.
Yeah. Like 1 cup is like a pot of coffee.
Yeah.
People are drinking 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Drinking people.
2 or 3.
2 or 3 large ones.
Large ones a day. It's like you're drinking 10 cups of coffee worth of caffeine.
Yeah. And it was great. I was loving it.
You were loving it.
Yeah.
Like, it was
so
like
last
McDonald's.
week. Yeah. Last week I go in there. And I guess I've got an inside connection.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So I go in there, and the lady at the counter says, "You know what?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "They're getting rid of the drinks." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. You started flipping tables.
Yeah. And I was
like
pretty upset.
Jesus in the temple.
And I said, "So I'm going to cancel my subscription."
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I do this.
And she's like, "It's a subscription, actually."
And she goes, "But they're going to replace it."
Okay. All right. Okay.
I said, "Replace it with what?"
I like this.
And she said, like, some type of fruit punch, like a blueberry something and a mango something. I said, "Is it caffeinated?" And she didn't know. She didn't have details. So I said, "Well, if it's not caffeinated,"
rebranding.
I'm done.
Maybe it's just the same stuff. They're just calling it something different.
I would be fine with that.
That is the whole. That was the whole thing about it, though. It was charged.
Yeah.
The whole packaging behind it made you feel like, okay, this is gonna Be a lot of caffeine.
The first time I drank it, I felt it.
And you already drink a lot of caffeine.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not a coffee drinker or pop drinker or whatever, and you're not used to caffeine. You're already before this entered your life, you were drinking too much caffeine already.
I was a pot a day coffee guy.
And now,
yeah.
And then you take it and it hits you, and you're like, this is different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never had it.
So I show up last night to Panera.
Yeah.
It's the last day that they're available.
They probably have the powder back there somewhere. Whatever they make it with.
There's a concentrate. I talked to the lady about it. So here's the thing.
Sell that stuff on the street, man.
Yeah.
I don't know the street value of charged lemonade powder, but it's a lot.
So I actually go in at...
I can see you like going in and like, that's good stuff.
That's clean.
This is pure.
It's pure.
How do cops always know that
know.
it's good cocaine? They're like, that's good stuff. And I'm like,
Columbia Bam Bam right there. That's the good stuff.
you know so well. Like all you had to do was lick it, and you're like, no, that's
that
good stuff.
Nigerian junk. That's like the Colombian Bang Bang.
Yeah, nobody named Escobar made that.
So anyways,
Yes.
so I go in at 3:00, and she goes, "It's the last of it," and she goes, "That what's in the container is the last of what we will ever make." And so she gave me my drink, and she goes, "If you want to come by later tonight, I'll give you a jug."
Yeah.
I said, "Deal."
Yeah.
So I came back at 8:30 that night.
Yeah, you did.
And I walk in, and she looks around like this. I'm serious. It's like a drug deal.
This is a public relations nightmare for Panera.
Yeah.
Okay.
She looks around, and she pulls it out from the underneath. There was a refrigerator.
Just so everybody knows, the Panera that you go to is in Polaris. That's your normal Panera.
Northern Columbus.
Yeah, Polaris Panera. That's where you go.
I wasn't going to say the girl's name.
Okay.
But it rhymes
matter.
with banana.
Okay.
And Stella knows.
Shabana?
Yeah, that's what it is. And so she looks around, and she goes for there's a refrigerator underneath the counter. I didn't even know this existed. She opens this refrigerator, pulls out this jug of charged lemonade, and gives it to me.
And that's it?
And that's the last. I got the last charged lemonade in Ohio.
Have you drank it yet?
No, it's in my refrigerator right
How
now.
are you going to hold on to it for
I don't
a while?
know. I asked her. She said it's good for 3 months.
Oh.
If it's refrigerated, it's good for 3 months.
I would let it. I'd save it for a rainy day.
I might just do shot glasses of it every day. Just to,
That last drink of... You should bring it actually on the show. Your last drink.
Oh, okay.
You should bring it in a little cup and just, have your last drink on air on YouTube as a, homage to Panera's. The greatest thing they ever did as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, I really probably... I am in there 8 times a week.
Oh, yeah.
More than once a day.
I'm in there anywhere from 2 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And I'd say 60% of the time I'm there, I see you.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on there.
Yeah. I like Panera. I like the atmosphere. I like the drinks.
Sure.
The coffee is okay.
Coffee's fine.
It's fine.
I throw them off. They don't know what to do with me because sometimes I get the coffee, sometimes I get the fountain drink.
Yeah.
And so they're like,
Do they know you're my brother?
I have gone out of my way to make sure they don't. So actually,
at this point,
one time we were there. I don't know, there were a few of us or something, and Stella was with us, and it's like they were like looking at her, and looking at me, and they're trying to figure it out. I'm like, don't worry about it. I don't know her. Yeah. Don't worry about this. I don't know who this person is because I'm not trying to get them
Uncle
to connect.
Dan.
Shut up. I'm not trying to get them to connect me to you. So
yeah. So at this point, I've become Norm. I walk in and they're Jason.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And apparently there's 2 Jasons.
Oh.
There's a good Jason and a bad Jason.
There's a couple of guys that really kind of talk a lot when they're in there.
Yeah.
There's one guy, he's a real good looking guy, and everybody, when he's in there, like all the ladies are like up and they're laughing at him and stuff, So Norm MacDonald believes that because there's this idea that women find humor attractive.
Yeah.
But his theory is that actually women just laugh at whatever attractive people say. So attractive men believe
that they're funny,
because women are laughing at everything they say, but actually they're not funny.
Yeah.
Well,
That
how do
checks
you,
out.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I've been listening to Norm MacDonald's audiobook. It's crazy. It's his autobiography, but there's all sorts of stuff in it that is not real at all. He's got a whole chapter about how he, a Make-A-Wish kid, asked him to come on the show. So he visits him in the hospital. But then he tells him his real wish is to kill a baby seal. So then Norm MacDonald takes this Make-A-Wish kid to like Antarctica and like hires a boat and watches him club a baby seal to death, you know? And then how it brings the baby seal's life then went into him and healed him.
Oh, wow.
Only to have him get hit by a bus 1 month later. But and then I raced back to Saturday Night Live to get up on the weekend update desk. You know, and it's just like, but it was like a whole chapter.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy book.
I love Norm.
You should. I got it on Libby, the audiobook.
Okay, yeah.
It's Norm MacDonald's audiobook. I think it's called Based on a True Story.
Is he the one reading it?
Yes,
Yeah,
which
okay.
is great. Except sometimes the ghostwriter comes in and like basically like is like, I'm the one that helped Norm write this book, and you know he's like distancing himself from Norm. He calls Norm like the most despicable human being he's ever met. You
really?
know? So it's obviously a joke.
Oh, I'm like, jeez.
It's obviously a joke.
Kick them when they're down.
So anyway, it's a crazy book. But that's his theory on attractive people being funny.
Well, I'm neither, so I don't know
what's going on. I don't know what's going on. You're just Norm. That's what you are. So do we have stuff from Twitter, or what do you want to do?
Okay, so here's the thing. We had some stuff last week from Twitter. I don't know where it's at. I don't know how to track it down. We had to cancel last week.
Yes.
There was multiple things going on.
A lot of stuff going on. We apologize, but we promise you, if you're listening to this, we're going to get this episode out to you as fast as we can.
As you're listening. So we do have some things.
All right, let's do it.
I'm a little upset Jesse's not here for this because we had teased it when he was here. He was all excited. The Mount Rushmore of Up.
Oh, sure.
Remember Up. Shut Up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lock Up. Like
Make Up.
Hillary. Make Up.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Break Up.
Break Up.
Yeah. 7 Up.
Throw Up.
Oh, I didn't think about that one. Mm-hmm. Wake Up.
Mm-hmm.
Look Up.
It took a minute.
Screwed Up.
Uh-huh. A lot of those.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like...
Unless we're missing one. Stella, can you think? No? Yeah. I just feel I want to bounce it off of somebody. It's just
Jesse's good to bounce stuff off of because he's so bouncy. When you throw something at him, it just
like blubber.
Bounces right back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the sound it makes.
So wake up, shut up, throw up, 7 Up, look up, make up,
break up,
Chuck.
Ooh, I didn't think about that one. Yeah, up.
It's kind of a backwards thing.
Yeah, is there up yours?
Oh, there's that. Make 7 up yours. Remember that? No. You don't remember that?
No.
There was like a whole campaign, and they had T-shirts, and the front of the T-shirt said "Make 7," and the back of the T-shirt said "Up yours." Make 7 up yours. You don't remember that?
No, but I want this shirt now.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure you could find it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay, so what are we going to lock this down?
I've grown tired of this. What's the next thing?
This is like the original days of Lauer Road.
Yeah, just this is a classic fish or chicken episode.
Are we recording?
That Dr. Pepper over there that she's got looks bigger than normal. Is it bigger than normal?
It's a 2-liter.
I know it's a 2-liter. Do they remember 3 liters? I feel like 3-liter was like an off-brand thing.
It was like a Big Lots or
There was
something.
like a Big Lots 3-liter.
Yeah, I remember
And it was
that.
like 20 cents more than a 2-liter. And you're like,
Totally
come
worth
on,
it.
I'm going to get it. Of course. A 3-liter.
A 3-liter of Orange Crush?
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
walk into a party with a 3-liter, like, hey, bro, you brought the 3-liter. I mean, that's
Not one.
You're a king.
Not 2.
You walk in, no.
You got all 3 liters.
You walk into a party with the 3-liter, you're a king.
Yes.
I mean, they bow before you. It's a great feeling.
Have you ever walked into a party with a 3-liter?
No.
But you've seen someone do it.
Next time anybody asks me, like, because sometimes we'll have people over. Usually we make tacos when people come over, and if hey, is there anything we could bring? I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna say
3-liter.
just a couple 3-liters should be fine. Just bring a couple 3-liters. Really hit the 3 hard, so they have to ask.
Like what? Huh?
You'll
find it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
You
think
have to look.
They probably have it at Save-A-Lot. It feels like a Save-A-Lot thing to
It
me.
definitely feels like a Save-A-Lot. Maybe
Yeah.
Dollar General.
Maybe Dollar General. Maybe King Saver. You ever driven
Family
by
Dollar.
King Saver?
Oh, King Saver, yeah.
It's the ghetto grocery store here in Marion.
Yeah. It's got a tomato as a logo.
I like that. What else we got?
It's getting harder and harder, for me at least, to identify which people are crazy and which people are wearing Bluetooth earpieces. Because I see more and more people just walking down the road talking to them, what it looks like they're talking to themselves.
Yeah.
And I can't, honestly, I saw a guy the other day walking down the street talking to himself, and he looked like a crazy, fat, ugly, homeless man.
Man, you really just threw that guy under the bus, didn't you?
That's what he looked like.
Okay.
And I'm watching him, and I'm trying to think, is he on the phone with Bluetooth?
Is he just a crazy
Or is he
fat
just talking
guy
to
with
himself? Yeah.
ugly? Did you say ugly too?
Big, fat, ugly,
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. No, this dude was like
I
probably
feel like
homeless.
I don't know. Is this offensive? Maybe this is offensive.
Maybe.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I feel like, yeah, this is offensive. I feel like being fat makes you uglier. Like thinner people are better looking.
Well, I think it's a curve.
So to call somebody a fat, ugly person, maybe they're not ugly.
Oh,
Maybe they're just fat.
No, this person was fat and ugly.
Oh, you're pretty sure. Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
You know.
I do think plump is not necessarily fat.
Oh, plump is cute. That's what Erica tells me.
Every night.
All right.
Plump, husky.
Husky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stout.
Girthy.
Girthy.
I got a story about a crazy guy. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
So,
You could take your dog in there.
oh yeah,
Go to the house.
they don't care. Not that guy. There's another guy. So I am so in Delaware, Ohio,
Yeah.
which is like, I know you're not a Parks and Rec guy, but if you like Parks and Rec, Marion is Pawnee and Delaware is Eagleton.
First of all, I'm not anti-Parks and Rec.
You just have never gotten around to it.
I just never got around to it.
That's fine.
Okay.
You're gonna, if you ever get around to it.
Yeah. I like Ron.
There's and Chris Pratt's character is hilarious.
Yeah.
There's some things you won't like, but overall, I really like the show. But if you do like Parks and Rec and you want to know, because we talk about Marion, Ohio, which is where we're from. If you want to know, Marion is Pawnee and Delaware is Eagleton. Okay. That's all I need to say.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we're in Delaware, and we stopped at a coffee shop, and there's a brand new coffee shop, Caribou Coffee, in Delaware
I'm
on
familiar.
23.
Yeah.
Now they have a lot of Caribou Coffee in Minnesota, North Dakota, that area of the country, and so we'll get Caribou Coffee kind of regular when we're driving through. And so Erica's like, "Oh, I really want Caribou Coffee." It's like, "Let's do it." So we went in, we got Caribou Coffee. We're sitting there. I got my laptop, and this guy walks up. And he points at me. He's like, "Are you a minister?" That's what he said. And I was like, "I don't know why that matters. What do you? I don't understand what you're saying." So then
the gospel?
a minister of
what?
I'm a minister of defense.
Yeah.
Who
Who was the minister of defense?
Wasn't there a football player that was his nickname, the minister of defense?
Yeah.
I feel like there was like a linebacker.
No, that's definitely a nickname, but I was thinking basketball, but it could have been football.
I feel like it was a linebacker.
Yeah.
But it could have been like Dikembe Mutombo, the minister of defense.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Whatever.
But then he just starts talking to me, and he's talking to me about everything, man.
Yeah.
Like he's talking to me. He gets into the like Illuminati, and then he gets into the Freemasons, and then he's talking about the Rothschilds and the you would love this guy.
I love all these things.
Actually,
Yeah.
this guy was checking a lot of your boxes, but he was kind of crazy. And he kept on saying stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, He's like, "No, I do know." And he was going on and then he told me his brother died, but then there was like a cover up because his dad was a Freemason. And I'm like, "Man, I'm so sorry that your brother died." And he's like, "No, listen, it was the cover up." And that's what he was mad about. I'm like, "Yeah, but either way, it's tough. Your brother died." And he's like, he didn't, I didn't understand apparently that the real problem was not that his brother died.
Yeah.
The problem was the Freemasons. So anyway, I was sitting there, and Erica is actually, because of the way we set up, she's kind of like 4 tables away from me because there were some comfortable chairs in the corner. And I was like, "I want to sit here." And she's like, "But I need a table." And I'm like, "But I don't need a table." So I want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the comfortable chair.
So
and
you went
she's over there.
together to sit separate.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And so as I'm sitting there talking to him, and we're at 20 minutes, and I'm trying to give him every, "Hey, that's nuts," kind of like, okay, and he is not picking it up, and he's only actually gaining steam. So we could be here for a while, and I don't want to talk.
You could
to this
have pulled
guy.
a Bilbo Baggins.
So
Good day.
Put a ring on. Good day, sir. No, it's good morning. what an awful lot of things you mean when you say good morning. Anyway, so he's not picking up any of the social cues.
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe he is, as the story later might tell. And he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I got my laptop open, and thankfully I had my my message, my texting thing open.
The I app.
So real quick, I just CALL enter to Erica.
Oh, yeah.
A call.
Call me.
You know what I mean? So after I did that, I looked at my phone and I made sure that it was on.
Yeah.
As he's talking, I was like, yeah, okay, that's interesting, whatever, And then my phone rings and he's not stopping.
Yeah.
Like he's not slowing down.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, sorry, I got to take this. And he's like, nah. And I was like, what? And he's like, you alarmed it. That's what he told me.
Oh.
He goes, you alarmed it. I was like, no, it's a phone call. Look, it's an actual phone call. Like somebody's calling me and I do need to take this, And he was like, no, you alarmed it. You alarmed it. And he just kept on saying that. I was like, no, I said, I'm getting an actual phone call. Look, it's a real phone call,
Yeah.
He's like, you alarmed it. I saw you. You alarmed it. And I was like, picked up the phone. I was like, hello? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. And just waited for him to leave until he's off in the distance. But he
was watching.
He was watching, and according to him. Now, the heart of his accusation actually is correct. Because
you did alarm it.
I did, in a sense.
Yeah.
I did, but it was an actual phone call.
Did I tell you, that's an idea for an app. I think I talked about it on the show 4 years ago. Just an app where you just hit one button
and you can just get a call,
and it calls you.
So
yeah,
he was
you
normally
alarmed it. You alarmed it.
Normally, people would just be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." This guy, but he was not going to let it go. He's like, "No, you alarmed it." I was like, "No, this is a call, man," and he would not let it go. He was aggressive. I was kind of. Because the comfortable seat is in a corner.
Yeah.
I was literally backed in a corner. And I was like, if this guy goes nuts, and I was sitting way back, pretty comfortable seating in the Caribou Coffee. And I'm like, if this guy comes after me, I'm going to need Erica to come to my defense because he's got me right where he wants me. I got nowhere to run. Yeah. Thankfully, he just yelled at me that I alarmed it.
What you could have said
love the fact that when so the way he said you alarmed it was like, this has happened to him before.
Yeah.
Right? He's not new to this.
Right.
Right. And I feel bad for the guy. Well, I really do.
At least he's aware enough to know that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. When I said earlier that he wasn't picking up on the social clues, maybe he was.
Yeah.
And he was just didn't care. He's like, this guy doesn't want to talk to me, but I'm going to keep on talking because he needs to know about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers.
What you could have done.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not a minister. But you know who is? That lady right over there.
I happen to know she's an ordained minister. And she, quite frankly, knows more about what you're talking about than I do.
She could probably teach you some things.
Yeah. So anyway, he was like...
You know how great that would have been?
He was like, he's like, the pastors, they're not allowed to talk about this. I was like, I think they are. He's like... he was like, no, they're not allowed. I was like, well... Yeah, but they can... But they can. Yeah. And he's like, they are not. You alarmed it. It was just, it's still, even that moment, it was just a moment that you would embrace.
I love those moments.
You would glory in that moment. Still, when I close my eyes at night, I just see his face pointing at me, saying you alarmed it. And it really cuts to my core, hurts me as a person.
I love those moments.
I know you do. You live for those moments.
I live for them.
And I try to lean into them more now than I used to because of the podcast, because it's like, listen,
it's content.
I need content so bad. So let's just make it happen. But still, that was an uncomfortable situation that I got myself in.
No, so. I like it. I like leaning into the crazy.
You lean into it.
There are some people, I'm not going to mention any names, but there are some crazy people on Twitter.
Yeah.
That there's something called Twitter Spaces where it's like a chat room.
Yeah.
You log in and you talk to people. And there's some crazy, crazy wackos in there. Yeah. And this last weekend, I ended up talking 7 hours between 2 different days. 7 hours with this crazy lady.
Okay.
And I had fun.
Sure.
Yeah. I think she did too.
I'm sure she did. She probably hasn't talked that long to somebody in a long time. She is glad when she gets junk calls because she can talk to a person.
Well, that's what this is. And it's fun. I like it. And then asking open-ended questions, knowing it's going to trigger something. That's fun too. Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
You want to do Netflix?
It's never too early.
I've said that. I've always said that.
It could be too late. That's possible.
That is true. Yeah.
But it's never too early to do Netflix suggestion.
Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus.
Jason,
or maybe Amazon Prime.
what is your
like
Netflix
like
suggestion of the week?
We don't want to put a box.
My
around what you
Netflix
watch, so
suggestion
you never
of the
know.
week is found. I think I've said it before, but it's found on Hulu. I've
Okay.
been watching a lot of it.
All right.
It's Family Guy.
Okay.
So
that was yours like a month ago. That was your suggestion.
I've been watching a lot of it.
Okay.
It's so funny. I find it so.
Sure.
It's very random,
Yeah.
and I like
It's
random.
like stream of consciousness.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And I found some other things to watch. There's a YouTube channel that's like prank phone calls. Boy Blob actually sent me some videos.
Crank Yankers.
No, it's different. I don't know what it's called. He sent me.
Do people even? I mean, I feel like prank phone calls can't be as much as a thing as they used to be.
These are pretty funny.
Did you ever see it when they put on with two cell phones?
Yeah.
They call Asian restaurants and then put them next to each
You
other.
call me. No, you call me.
Yeah, those are great.
Chicken. General Tso's chicken fried rice. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's funny. Yeah. So the other thing, the only other thing I've watched other than Family Guy, last night I watched 6 innings of baseball.
Oh,
Chicago Cubs versus Atlanta Braves.
okay.
I've not watched 6 consecutive innings of baseball in 5 years.
What'd you think?
It's I
tried to watch the NBA playoffs 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've been recently watching old NBA playoff games.
Those are the best.
where they were like trying
Yeah.
and like skilled. And these guys,
back when they
it's like,
cared.
It's like an open gym
I
at
know.
a YMCA.
I know.
It's like defense is kind of it's
Optional.
kind of happening, but not
Yeah.
really. This dude Nikola
Yeah.
Jokic,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be, he's the 3-time MVP.
I love him.
They're calling him one of the
Yeah.
greatest of all time. He's not, Jason. Like you put him in the 90s, he's Greg Ostertag. That's who he is.
Yeah.
He's literally Greg Ostertag. He is the reincarnation of Greg Ostertag. Maybe he's a slightly better shot, but other than that, it's not like he's so great.
Yeah.
He's just
There's no. Yeah.
nobody's really trying, and he's like kind of trying, and he's like I watched it for actually 20 minutes, and I realized he realizes that he's just like taking advantage of. Because everybody else is trying to do other stuff.
Putting in effort.
And he's like, well, you guys, you're not even doing that. I just do this. You don't even care, And it's like 40 points. Doesn't even break a sweat. He's like, I don't even like basketball. Like, he doesn't care.
He's just in it because if they score 120, they get free tacos.
Yeah.
And so he's just trying to get to that 120.
He's just getting those free tacos. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So what'd you think of your baseball experience?
It's fine.
I love baseball.
I love baseball. I love the Cincinnati Reds.
Baseball doesn't change as much as other sports do. It's harder for baseball
It is.
to change.
I mean, there's the pitch count. The bases are a little bit bigger. There's like some things that
I
are
like
different.
the bigger bases.
It's fine. It's fine.
More steals is good.
Yeah. Dude, that shortstop for the Reds is amazing.
He's fast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Deli something.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, he's good.
He's very good.
Very good.
He's like 6'11".
He's not 6'11", but he's tall.
He's very tall.
and he's so fast.
Yeah.
Like so fast.
very athletic.
All right.
What's yours?
But that's not what we came here to talk about.
No.
We're not a sports show. We don't watch sports. We don't care about sports. I think I've realized that much of the sports industry only exists because of gambling, right?
Yeah.
Like there's more gambling on sports than I think I ever fully realized before.
Oh, there's
and
a lot,
now that
yeah.
it's so much more legal,
Well, it's on an app on your phone.
I know.
Yeah.
Like anybody can gamble at any time. I had a friend who was like, he had lost like $10,000 or more on, and I was like, oh, and he was telling me about it and stuff. And I was like, well, the important thing is, you've talked about it, so it's like, you're going to climb out of this hole, but you don't have to, be here again. And you've realized like, it's just not, it's not a good idea. He's like, oh no, he's like, I could be a professional gambler. I was like, but you couldn't though. Cause you prove, he's like, no, actually, I know more than they do. Like he wasn't even. There was no sarcasm, and he was like, I know I'm not going to gamble, but like I could. He's like, if you gave me $500, like within a couple of days, I could turn it into $7,000 or $8,000 pretty easily. Yeah. And I was like, but you couldn't though, right? And he's like, no, I could. I definitely could.
Then do it.
I was like, you're going to gamble again.
Yeah.
Like this is like, you're not.
Well, and that's why Jesse's not here tonight.
Mm-hmm. Because the mob broke his thumbs.
One of the things, going back to baseball really quick, what is the Mount Rushmore of things to watch on mute?
Oh, well, sports.
Sports is definitely one.
Boy, that's a good question.
Because I actually watch a fair amount of stuff on mute.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, Bob Ross would be a good one.
You could watch. I mean, I prefer it with sound, obviously.
Come on.
But you could watch it on mute.
Yeah.
Sports, Bob Ross, maybe the Antiques Roadshow.
Okay.
Because you don't need to hear it.
Yeah.
Because they give you the numbers and stuff.
What about things that you've seen a million times?
Oh, like just to have on.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars,
yeah.
just because you like the way it looks and feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You could do that. Yeah.
Nostalgic movie.
Nostalgic. I love nostalgia.
Okay, what's your suggestion?
Speaking of nostalgia, how do you like that for professional transition?
Uh-huh.
I just screwed it up.
Well, I was a softball and I tossed it.
You did, and I hit a foul ball. There is a very nostalgic movie out called Unfrosted. It is Jerry Seinfeld's new movie about the invention of the Pop-Tart.
Yeah. Breakfast pastry.
I was very excited to watch this.
Yeah.
I love Seinfeld. Love him. So Levi and Grace were even over, the girls, Erica, everybody. I'm like, all right, everybody be quiet. I want to watch this movie. We watched it Saturday night. I was very tired, but it was like, it's been out for a week and I haven't watched it. I want to watch it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, we're going to watch this movie. Shut off the lights. I'm in it. I was so tired, I fell asleep. But I will say, it was like, I need to watch it again, obviously, because I fell asleep. I mean, I watched most of it. There were some funny parts, for sure.
Is he in it, or he just...
Yeah, he plays like the main character.
Okay.
But in the critics, the like, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not doing great. Critic or audience, like it's not, neither one of those is like loving it. It's not as bad as like Rebel Moon, but it's not doing great on any of those. So it's not connecting with audiences, and I understand why it's not. It's very silly.
Yeah.
The plot doesn't matter. All he cares about is jokes. Some of the jokes don't land. I don't love if I'm going to be critical of any of it, and I'm not making a movie, so it's one more movie than I've made.
Yeah.
So it's better than any movie that I've made. But if I have to be critical, and I don't, but I will, if I have to be critical, I don't love Amy Schumer. So
nobody loves Amy Schumer.
Yeah, and she plays a fairly main character in the movie, and I just feel like she's just not good in it. It should have been Kristen Wiig. I see it. I'm like, this movie would be much greater. Yeah. Much better if Kristen Wiig, or maybe if he could have gotten Julia Louis-Dreyfus to play that character. That would have been funny. But Amy Schumer,
she's the worst.
Obviously she's not funny, first of all, but like even as a comedic actress where she's not writing lines or anything, it's just not good.
No.
She's just not good. So she's a drag on the movie, in my opinion. There are a lot of people in the movie. Bill Burr plays JFK. It's like hilarious, and so there's some funny parts and some weird things and like kind of make you laugh, but it was not as good as I had hoped. But I need to rewatch it, and maybe I'll change my opinion. Maybe it's one of those movies that like the first time you see it, like, what the heck was that? And then you watch it more and you catch, because there's a lot of jokes. Yeah. Maybe you catch more jokes. Maybe it becomes funnier over time. It might be very quotable. Could be. Jim Gaffigan plays a main character, and he's kind of getting on my nerves lately. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just in my own way.
I'm out. I don't want to watch it anymore.
I know. I love Jerry Seinfeld.
He's
sue me.
Fantastic. Yeah.
All right. I have.
I've got more stuff.
I'd like to talk about something specific.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about Asian racism.
Oh, I got to think about blacks.
People, black.
After we do the Asians,
I've actually
let's do the black thing.
I've been listening to a lot of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X lately, like side by side,
Like at the same time, like lefty or righty.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's like they're both making sense. And it's interesting because they only say Negroes.
Yeah.
That's their word, but you couldn't say that today.
Yeah.
So even though I just did.
Let me do the black thing real quick before you do the Asian.
All right, I got a whole thing about Asian racism.
Well, this won't take long.
Okay.
So part of the Twitter Spaces, where it's just this room of people. The other night, I was bored. Everybody's in bed. I'm not tired. So I start going through random spaces. I found one labeled barbershop, and it had like 30 black guys in it. And they were talking sports and like ragging on each other and yelling and making jokes and
That's
stuff.
fun.
It was like the best time I've had in a long time.
And you got on the space and were talking to them and stuff?
I didn't talk. I could have requested to talk.
Oh, yeah.
I just listened.
Okay.
I was the only white guy in the room.
Yeah.
And it was like, listen, we're pretty isolated. We're surrounded by a bunch of whiteys.
Yeah.
I've spent some time around some people that are not white.
Okay.
I enjoy it, but I just don't. I'm not around them.
Yeah.
They're
It's not
just-
like you're choosing that. It's not. You're not going out of your way.
They're not here.
They're just. It's just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live with one, but I see
true.
one every day.
I never thought about him that way. I don't even see
he's
color.
not really. I mean, his skin is, but
Yeah.
he doesn't act that way. Anyways, so we're in this room, and these guys are going nuts, yelling and laughing and joking. They're talking about the greatest college quarterbacks of all time.
Tommy
And they're-
Frazier.
Well, they brought up Tommy Frazier, and they said Marcus Mariota and some other guys, and they're going back and forth and stuff.
Marcus Mariota.
It doesn't matter. It was funny. And then one guy goes, "Oh, so you guys never heard about Michael Vick, have you?"
Oh.
And it was so funny, just them going back and forth like that.
Michael Vick was great.
So I friended all of them.
Oh.
And I'm going to start logging into their spaces.
Until they kick you out. Is that possible? They can kick you out.
They could block me.
So you're gonna be like,
I'm going to slow play it.
yeah.
I'm not going to do this right away. I'm going to start logging in their space, and they'll see me. They'll see me down just watching.
Okay, all right, this
And
guy's
eventually I'll
here.
request to speak. I'll say something legit. And then I'm just going to build it, and then I'm going to drop it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to drop, but
And
it's going to be
and
funny.
You're gonna just launch into your whatever. And it is.
So what do you guys think about Pete Maravich? Huh?
Oh, okay.
Best white player ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, stuff, I don't know. Something like
Quick
that. maybe.
question: Trump, great president or greatest president?
They might like him.
They could.
Yeah.
They could.
Actually, that's probably what I'll do. That's pretty good. Okay, guys, stay with me for a second.
Okay. Two options: Trump, great president or greatest president, and see what happens. You
Okay.
could have made lifelong friends,
Yeah.
and you could get immediately ejected from the space. It'll be fun to find out what happens.
Either one, it's going to be fun.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah. Okay, what's your thing about Asians?
So I'll open it up with this. I have been watching a lot of old golf lately.
Oh, okay.
So like I watched.
How messed up are our lives?
I'm pretty messed up. I watched the entire final round of the 1986 Masters. It took me 3.5 hours. It was riveting.
Jack and Arnold?
Arnold was way back. This was Jack's last Masters.
Okay,
He,
okay.
at the beginning of the
feel like
final,
I kind of remember
At
it.
the beginning of the
Yeah.
final round, he was 2 under.
Yeah.
And Seve Ballesteros was like 6 under, and then Greg Norman was like 7 under.
Oh,
And
sure.
so it was like
Yeah.
Seve Ballesteros versus
Yeah.
Greg Norman. That was the whole plot going into it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Jack's at like 3 under, but nobody's really paying attention to him. And then he birdies 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Oh, my gosh.
And then everybody's like going nuts.
Yeah.
And he's hitting long putts.
Yeah.
And then Greg Norman falls apart. It was awesome.
Is
Like
that the thing where he points and he walks? and
Yes,
he looks-
it's that one. It's on 17. Everybody on 17 was like falling apart. They were hitting the water or like way. I mean, it was like nobody could, because the pin placement was in front of water.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they're kind of like tempting you
Yeah.
to go for it, and people are hitting the water and this. And Jack freaking goes for it. He didn't even have to.
Yeah.
Like he was actually in the lead. So he could have laid up and then 2-putted and said, let me just get to 18 and see
Yeah.
what we can do. But he went for it and he stuck it like 3 feet from the pin. It was awesome. So anyway.
That scene is the most iconic golf scene, I
Yeah,
think.
and that's his last.
when he putts and he lifts up the putter.
That's his
Yeah.
last major championship, his last Masters. He was not supposed to be involved. I mean, he was too old.
1986?
1986.
Okay.
Look it up.
Yeah.
I mean, watch it. It's really good. And just the production value is a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Is Vern Lundquist the announcer?
Vern Lundquist,
Come
of course,
on.
he's there.
Come
yes.
on.
So I think Brett Musburger was the main announcer.
And Vern's the
Jim
color
Nance
guy.
was like, and I'll be calling 17 today. So he was like only on hole 17. Anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So I was like, scrolling. Now YouTube was like, yeah, we know what this guy likes.
Yeah.
So they give me the 1980 U.S. Open Championship.
Okay.
Jack wins this one, I know. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this one. So at the beginning of this tournament, Jack's in first place at the beginning of the fourth round.
I love it. We're breaking down 1980s golf.
What else are we going to do? So, but I'm going somewhere about Asian racism.
Oh, I forgot about the Asians. Yeah.
So Jack's in the lead.
What was that? Chichi Rodriguez?
He was awesome.
Is that
he
his
was
name?
not there.
Okay.
But you better believe Lee Trevino was there.
Oh, come
and
on.
he was crushing it.
Lee Trevino?
Lee
Come
Trevino
on.
was on fire.
Chichi Rodriguez, that's his name, right?
Yeah, Chichi Rodriguez. He would do the thing.
Yeah.
So, he was not involved in
Where's
this tournament.
today's Chichi Rodriguez?
Sergio Garcia, and he's not exciting.
No.
So, anyway, the leaderboard is Jack's in first place. The second guy, the guy in second place, is Ahsoka Aoki.
Okay.
Now, the way that the U.S. Open works is that, I'll explain it to you when I explain to you the question. So they have like the PGA, the U.S. Open president on, and they're just talking about the tournament and stuff, whoever the announcer is. And they're like, now, Mr. Johnson, this year, Ahsoka Ioka is in second place, virtually unknown golfer. Tell me, how did this Oriental get into the field? Like, that's literally exactly what he said. How did this Oriental get into the field?
Well,
and it was just...
In 1980, you can say that. You can't say that today.
So apparently, the U.S. Open, there are like 4... Open championships throughout the world, and if you win one of those, like the Japanese Open, then you can make it to the U.S. They'll give you an invite. But he was like, Ahsoka Aoki, never heard of him. Tell me, how did this Oriental get into the field? I was like, oh gosh. I mean, I'm not like a lefty, but even that made me go, I don't know, man.
Chichi Rodriguez, tell me, how'd this Mexican get in the field?
And because even the question.
Think about
okay, so it's like, I think at the time Oriental was the actually politically correct thing to say.
The Orient.
At the time. Yeah, because it was like, because you didn't want to say.
The Orient.
Because like, I don't know, is he Japanese or is he
Far
Korean?
East, yeah.
Is he Taiwanese? I can't tell the difference, so I'll just say Oriental.
Yeah.
Now we say Asian.
Yeah.
And that, but 10 years from now, that'll be racist and we'll say Oriental again, or who knows what we'll say. But,
we three kings of Oriental.
Yep. And so that kind of, I was thinking about that. And then the other day, it was
Tiger Woods? Tell me, how'd he get here?
How did this half black, half Oriental get into the field? Because that's what he is, right? His mom's Korean and his dad is black. Doesn't really matter. So Michaela, the other day, we told her we're going to go out to eat for your graduation. You just pick the restaurant. And so she wanted to have sushi or Asian food, something like that. So we went to this place called Wild Ginger at Polaris. It was really good. Everybody liked what they got. So we were looking at the menu, and as before we go in, I was like, we'll know this place is good or not, depending on how well the cooks and the waiters speak English. If they don't speak English well, then
right.
Then we'll know. Like,
the better the food, the worse the English.
The worse the English, the better the food.
Right,
the better the English, the worse the food.
Right.
At a foreign restaurant,
Yeah.
international restaurant. I don't know. Maybe you don't call it foreign. They also kept on calling the guy the foreigner, which was funny. This foreigner. So anyway, so I had already had that conversation, and we're looking through the thing, and Erica's trying to figure out what kind of sushi she wants, and she says, "Oh, there's this one called the Ricky roll," and they always have weird names and stuff. And I said, but if our waitress, I said, if she'll call it a licky. Lore.
Licky lore.
So she'll call it a lick because they switch their L's and their R's. It's not whatever. It's fine. I'm sure that they make fun of the way American people talk when they're in Japan or whatever. I don't really care. But I said that, and I was like, actually, she called it a licky lore is what she would call it, And so, so they come, and I'd kind of forgotten that I said that. And Erica said, I think I'm going to have, and Erica ordered first, I'm going to have the Ricky roll. And she's like, okay, the Licky Lore. And I absolutely lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, and I was embarrassed. You know what I mean? Because I was like, and she's like, and I was next,
Yeah.
and I was like, I felt like I was in 6th grade again.
Yeah.
And I was in the library and I wasn't supposed to laugh.
Right.
And nothing's funnier than when you're not supposed to laugh. And I was like, and Levi's looking at me and Erica's looking at me. Levi's almost laughing too. And Erica's looking at me like, what the heck is wrong with you? Stop it. Grace has to be completely embarrassed. Like, what did I get myself into? The girls are, embarrassed as well. So I was like, I don't know what I want. Could you come back to me, please? I haven't decided yet. I was like, and I even got out some of the energy. I was like, oh, I can't decide. I was like, hold on to it. So I eventually.
Did you also get the Ricky roll?
You know what I did? No, I didn't. But so we order our food, and then finally she goes away, and I'm just like, I put my head in my hands. I was like, I don't know what happened to me. I just completely, and she was, so I was. So what I'm getting at here is I'm trying to think, does that make me a bad person, or is that like a bad thing to do? And so what I'm saying is, like, what if I was a waiter at a restaurant in Japan, and when I walked away,
everybody starts
all
laughing.
the Japanese people were laughing, and I knew they were laughing at my pronunciation of the Japanese language.
Yes.
Would that?
But they're going like this. Would you like some sushi? Hey, honky, would you like some sushi? I am depressed. My credit cards are maxed out. Look at me. I'm white.
I think I'll get some sushi.
So, would that?
Do you remember as kids doing this?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And go, Mia, we are Chinese.
yeah. We used to do that, and we got that from the movies.
Dun, dun, dun.
So
it's Siamese.
When I am Chinese, Siamese, it doesn't really matter. You can't even say easy peasy Japanesey. You have
What?
to say easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I've been saying easy peasy Japanesey.
No, you're not allowed to say that. You're supposed to say easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I refuse to say.
That's fine. You can do
Easy
what you.
peasy
I
lemon
still say Indian style.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is,
Because
would
the Indians
that?
didn't make chairs. We all know this.
No, they said Indian style.
On the ground.
Who else do you think?
The Indians.
You think we named that after the Mexicans? No, we named it after the Indians.
Yeah.
Do you think that word just came from nowhere?
Obviously.
Indian style. How else would they have sat, Jason?
Well, they don't have chairs.
Most cultures don't.
What?
Chair is a fairly new invention.
I don't think so.
Go to
I think
Japan. They're sitting on the floor. They got the little tables. They sit on the floor.
That's true.
They sleep on the floor.
Have they not? Do they know what a chair is?
No. Or forks. Never heard of them. That's the Seinfeld bit. He's like, they know the fork exists, but they're still sticking it out with the chopsticks.
Yeah.
So would that, and so what I'm trying to figure out is, like, would that hurt my feelings? Now, I know that there are more important things than people's feelings.
Yeah.
And because of my childishness,
Yeah.
Erica tipped her very well. She was like, she was trying to make up for
apologize
it.
for my husband.
I'm so sorry.
He's a child.
And I did feel bad, but I couldn't help myself. And I'm like, I'm trying to process this, like, real time. Like, do I need to feel remorse? Like, ought I to, ask forgiveness for such a thing? Does this honestly make me a bad person?
Maybe. No, but I would have done the same thing.
It's
fine.
I just said that licky lore is what I said, and I was like, and whatever, But the moment she said it, I couldn't take it. It was just too much, and I don't know what it was, but all right. So I'm a bad person because
I want to tease. We're at the end of the show here. I want to tease.
Tell me, how did this Oriental get into the field? It's like, oh. Anyway, what's that?
I want to tease something for next week.
Tease it.
Because I feel like this is right up Jesse's alley. Mount Rushmore of vending machines. Now, type.
I'm surprised Jesse hasn't like gotten into buying vending machines and like placing them in places.
He'd eat all the food.
Multiple streams.
Yeah. So I think we're going to do the type of vending machines.
Like pop, candy.
There's coffee vending
There's
machines.
coffee vending
all that.
machines.
Locations, airport, rest area, things like that.
Rest area is a big one.
Yeah. So listen, next week, vending machine special.
Vending, it's all vending machines,
All vending machines.
all the time, nothing but vending machines. If you don't like vending machines, don't listen to the next episode. Or it's also possible that we'll completely forget we said this.
Trailer
and
Broken Promises.
Not even mention it.
Yeah.
We might not ever mention vending machines again.
It's 50-50.
It's 50-50. All right, that's a show.
That's a show.
Time flies when Jesse's not here. It's like normally he's just dragging us down, but, what are you going to do?
Yeah, hopefully next week we'll be fully staffed.
With them or not, we might hire new people and pay them as much as they're getting paid. This is Dan signing off for Jason, reminding you to always keep your stick on the ice and never wear the blue sweats.
Sit, Boo Boo, sit. Good dog.
I have spoken.
Good night, Lauer.
No,
Patch
that's
Kids.
Jesse's
Oh,
thing.
I'm sorry. I was just going to give a shout out.
Okay, you can give a shout out. Who are you going to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to
Joseph Cambinetti.
no, Nat.
King Cole.
No, I don't know her last name. Her name's Nat on the X.
Probably Natalie.
I think it's Natalie. Yeah. So I don't have her.
Thanks for listening, Natalie.
I don't know if she listens or not.